I think I've been up early all my life. I'm not sure if I was a premature baby, actually. I would ask my mum, but we don't speak anymore. Yeah, it's not quite 4:20, but I can't wait anymore. Feel like Christmas morning. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, WTU. I'm Phil Monk, your founder. In case you don't know, you might be new to the group. Hopefully we still have new members coming in, and if we haven't, I'd ask you all to share the group and invite more people to come and join us. Today feels like a very momentous day. It definitely does to me anyway. It's been a long time coming to today. So we haven't quite passed over to the barrister, as you may have noticed. If you've read everything I've written, probably not quite yet. I'm a bit premature. I was fancying a bit of poetry as well. I was thinking do another shameless plug for Words of Weed and Wisdom, compiled by Alan Buffrey, who has published many books of his own, and he's now published a couple of books, Inside My Hat and Other Heads, and then also Words of Weed and Wisdom. He's compiled these writings of various people from around the activism community globally, and put them together into a book that cost £10 and a penny from Amazon. I won't often say that, but I will for this cause. And I think it's £3.36 from every book will then be pledged to the WTU campaign. So I would urge you, if you haven't already purchased a copy, to please get yourself a copy of both books, because it might one day be a collector's item. We're certainly hoping so, because well, it feels very positive today. I will go on to some poetry in a moment. I've got to get straight into it. Is it 4:20 yet? 2 minutes. I'm going to just read a little poem in that case, just kill a few minutes. First one I'd like to read. This is one of my own, actually. I'm going to read two of my own poems, which normally I read other people's poems, but it occurred to me to read two of my own today. First one I'm going to read is called Apathy. This was just inspired by a comment by Alan Buffrey on a post going back quite so many months, and many of my poems are just inspired by random things. I don't even call them poems myself, but that's what apparently they are. But it's just, things come in a rhythm to me, and sometimes they rhyme, sometimes they don't, sometimes I think, what on earth have I wrote? A bit like that. So we'll just see where it goes. It's normally after I've had a good bong, is the truth of the matter. Cannabis really enhances my creative juices, makes my creative flow happen. When I was carving, it used to really get me into the carving as well. So that's why I always go on about cannabis's creative potential. So I'm just going to say a few words about apathy, because it seems quite fitting. Apathy seems to be our most powerful foe, and as ever, Alan Buffrey, you're in the know. Imagine if all who pledge support became active campaigners instead of passive supporter. Then maybe the government wouldn't beat us all like we're lambs to the slaughter. 50 years fighting for truth, justice and freedom, that's Alan Buffrey by the way, to have the right to sow cannabis seeds in our own private kingdom. What does it take to activate, motivate and engage? It takes loss of life, liberty or loved ones to become enraged. Instead of ruled by government-induced fright, so before I get back in today's fight, I ease my pains by having hot Epsom soak, and muse to myself, there's nought as funny as folk. And I suppose that's relevant in a sense, because we've got like nearly 5,747 members, I think, the last time I checked. But we still only have 123 testimonials, and only 679 people, 89 people responded to the survey. 299 people pledged to the fund, and it does actually feel like apathy is the greatest problem. If not apathy, then comes close fear, which I haven't written any words about yet, but they'll come soon. I have another poem that I intend to read, and that'll come later, and that'll be for our lost brother Nipper Gurney. They were words originally written for Philip James. So I'm going to leave that there. Even though the words were written for Philip James, or inspired by the passing of Philip James, one of our brothers and kind of comrades, it fits for any one of us that passes. And I had quite a sad day. I think it was Sunday when I found out about Nipper's passing, and it's occupational hazard of being where I happen to have got myself. I have a lot of people interact with my life now, many of them sick, dying and poorly, and some of them pass on, and it hurts. Maggie Maggie May comes into my mind. I think she was the first person we lost. You know, we don't always find out when we lose a member, because just because someone's not interacting on Facebook anymore, we don't know what happens to them. They're just gone. When I say we as a community, we never know where. And I always wish we had like a booking in system, like, you know, all present, safe and secure, sir. That would be really nice, you know, a checking in system, so we all knew that we're all still safe and sound. Any of us could be busted in prison or dead, and none of us would really know. And that really struck home to me when I learnt about Nipper's passing. So on that kind of sad note, that's what motivates me, I suppose. You know, it's the passing of these brothers and sisters, and people being bust. Another one of our members have been bust. I'm not mentioning names, but I just know there's more people getting their neck in the noose under prohibition, and it hurts me personally every time I learn about it, because it's completely unjustified. There's no need for it, and it's only because of politicians filling their pockets out of patents, and that's all it's about. Nothing about protecting people, all about protecting profits. So I was jubilant and over the moon today. I hadn't managed to have a catch-up call with Robert last week because of parenting duties, basically. So I managed to arrange a call today, and he was very excited, more excited than I've ever heard him. He has redrafted the body of evidence that I sent over to him last week. He said we're in a good position. He said it's very persuasive, a wealth of evidence, and after the 15 years since the Quayle precedent was set, he believes that we definitely have grounds to challenge the defence to medical necessity, and also we've got a whole list of arguments for the case of wider adult consumption, what people call recreational use. It's a nonsense, recreational, but anyway, so I've never heard him this excited and fired up and charged up, and it really made me feel quite positive and confident. I'll respond to all comments in a minute. Forgive me if I just kind of have to get it out, otherwise I lose my thread. So to summarise, Robert now, he has received a 72-page document from myself that contains 11 sections into the different aspects of cannabis prohibition. It comes to a total of 18,161 words with 42 citations of evidence. In addition to that, we have the expert witness statement from Professor Mike Barnes. We have 123 first-hand expert witness testimonials from the WTU membership that I have received so far. Now, you can still send in your testimonials. We haven't finished. That's open and ongoing, but that's just what we have so far. It is slightly disappointing, 5,700 members, only 123 testimonials. But anyway, that's a different story altogether. It would be nice, by the time we get to the Secretary of State, which won't be that far away, to have a lot more than 123. But as it stands, we have now sent 123 testimonials ready for the barrister. In addition to that, we have the 689 submissions from the survey. Now, you may have been with us when we were doing the survey. The survey was different to the testimonial in that it was very structured and asked very specific questions. Robert was blown away with the information that we found and contained in there, that thankfully for Google Docs was all presented in pie charts and stuff like that, so it's very easy to see the benefit and improvement that cannabis has upon our lives. So that really got Robert excited, as it happens. In addition to that, I've sent over the mission brief, which is visible on our website. If you go to our website homepage, you'll see our mission statement, the cannabis leaf with the mission statement. If you tap on that and follow through to the mission statement, that's a chance for you to actually become undersigned to the WTU mission statement. Also on the website, www.wtuhq.org, on the testimonials page, there's a chance for you to add your testimonial, your voice, the effect of cannabis and its prohibition upon your life. I would recommend, I've had lots of feedback, it turns out the website dialogue box will time out, so please write your testimony in a separate app on your phone, tablet, laptop, wherever you do these things, and copy and paste it into the dialogue box on the website. Then it won't time out on you. Failing that, you can email it directly to testimonials@wtuhq.org, or failing that, you can send it me into Messenger, WhatsApp, or any other means of communication, and I'll copy it and put it into the master documents that we have. And that, again, I will reiterate, is not about cannabis as a medicine. It's about you as a human being and your experience and journey with cannabis for whatever purpose. And then the effect of prohibition upon your life. Like for me, for example, it's denied me the opportunity to become a volunteer reading literacy specialist at a local school. I was a literacy teacher. My daughters love reading because of the way I've read books with them over the years. My son incidentally hates reading because of the way the teachers tried to get him to read. So I volunteered to become a reading guide, you know, not to teach to read, but a love of literature. And I was refused because of cannabis. So I've been discriminated against in many ways, and I know people in this community have been discriminated in far more ways, and it's that discrimination we're trying to end. So if you want to sign up to the mission brief and the testimonials, please get onto the website and do that. And then finally, I've also created a document called the WTU VAT. We're the Undecided Grow Your Own VAT calculation. And basically what I've done is itemised my grow and calculate how much VAT I contributed to the Treasury when I set up my independent practices to manage my own health. So I'm sort of documenting how much I contribute in my criminality, if you like. And that is just as a document to inform the Treasury that, in fact, would you believe this? Numbers, man. They estimate there is 1.4 million people in the UK who utilise cannabis for medical purposes. Okay, that doesn't mean on a prescription. They get it from wherever and they use it for a medical purpose. Pain, cancer, MS, whatever it is, it's for a specific medical purpose. And then they estimate at least 5 million people, adults, who utilise cannabis, well, because they want to. Because they are an adult and have determined for themselves that they would prefer to use cannabis for whatever reason, to relax with, for writing poetry, or, you know, tantric massage, meditation, food, you know. Cannabis is so many things. So it's about saying that if well, let's round that to 6 million people in the UK estimated that utilise cannabis. Now, I've learned from WTU, in what marketing terms, it's about 1% of people that actually bother to do anything. So let's just say 1% of those 6 million people chose to home grow. That would leave us with about 60,000 people choosing to set up a home grow model. This was based on 2 tents, 9 plants mature for perpetual cycle organic soil grow. Would you believe, you know, an individual contributes about £241 to the tax office in VAT just in setting up, once you got all the little bits of equipment, everything. Not to mention ongoing costs. Not to mention your VAT on your seeds, because they vary in so much price, it's very difficult to do a table for that. I included one seed that was £4 a seed, and another seed that was... It was £225 for 10 seeds, so £22.50 a seed, I think that's. So it just showed there's a huge range of cost in seeds. But if only 60,000 people bothered, because it's fucking a lot of hard work, to grow their own cannabis at home, that could raise £14,460,000 in tax, VAT alone, through the sales of indoor hydroponic cultivation equipment. That's your tent, your lights, your scissors, your nutrients, your soil, everything. Oh, low battery, sugar. So, you know, I've put that together to show, first of all, the solicitor, the barrister, and then the Secretary of State, actually. Aside from the fact they're smashing our human rights to pieces, we're actually an entire revenue stream that could fund the NHS, it could end homelessness, it could bring in education centres, treatment centres. It really could resolve many of the problems of society. Not to mention if you had dispensaries where people were able to go and purchase their cannabis from licensed vendors, which again would just raise so much in tax. Because there's always a tax on something. The point of the GYO VAT thing is to say we shouldn't pay for a licence, because I already pay a shitload of money in my VAT, so why on earth should I have to pay for a licence when I'm not selling it and making any money or anything like that? So only when you're selling it and everything should you have to pay for a licence. And that was in essence why the VAT document was written. So all that now has been sent to Robert. Robert is going to send to me his reworking, because I write for academic purposes, he writes for legal purposes. So he's reworked it. He said he hasn't changed it that much as it happened. So looking forward to seeing what he has done. And then once, you know, assuming that gets the approval, everything then will be sent to the barrister, who is in ready and waiting. The merchandise fund has raised enough so far to pay the extra £1,800 that the barrister required. Someone's written homebrew. It's exactly the same as homebrew rules. We mentioned wanting same rights, responsibilities and protections. So that will all then go to the barrister. The funds will be sent from the merchandise fund into Ince's bank, the solicitor holding fund. They'll direct it to the barrister. The barrister will take a period of time to read all this. It is going to be a period of time, I would say, at least, well, maybe a month. It's a lot of information. It's a lot of information. So I don't know what the turnaround will be. I haven't asked Robert for a turnaround with the barrister. As soon as I get given a time window, I've just noticed my battery's dying. As soon as I get given a time window, I will update on that and obviously share back to you as soon as I know. I won't be sharing the contents of this document because I feel it'd be like showing our card in a game of cards, showing our hand in a game of cards. So at the moment, we're sitting tight on that. Also the freedom of information that was sent to the Home Office, you may recall I shared that into the group in the documents tab a while back. I'm speaking really fast so I don't run out of battery. I've just sent back another freedom of information request to them today, and this channel of communication now that we've opened directly with the drug legislation team is going to be our door in to make this legal challenge. And judging by Robert's excitement, as they would say, this case has got legs. So on that note, before my battery runs out, I'm going to just read another poem. This is for lost brothers and sisters, not just lost brother. It was originally written, as I say, in memory of Phil James, who passed away to a brain tumour. I lose track of what year I'm in now. I think it was last year, but forgive me. January 5th, 2020, it was this year. God, I've got no concept of time. So originally in memory of Phil James, but this now has been extended to him in memory of all of our fallen comrades, brothers and sisters. Today, especially Nipper Gurney, who passed away, I think it was the 15th of September, just passed. How heartbreaking. Today, Nipper should be waking to daily celebrations instead of family commiserations. What a grievous crime for such a length of time. Government have known for years, despite promoting false fears. THC causes cancer cell apostasis and maintains homeostasis, ensuring a state of well-being and good health, but they lie and deceive to improve their health, their wealth. Despite their many a cannabis patent, their lies and duplicity is becoming blatant, denying lawful access to ancient herbal remedy, making now fatal a treatable malady, leaving our loved ones to die unnecessarily. One might think it was done deliberately. Is it not time we stand as one, for truth and justice and freedom, instead of rule of law, to keep order, to maintain profits? My deepest empathy and condolences to your family, sent with deepest love from your canna fam. I mourn your passing, canna comrade. You were a true gentleman and a kind soul who was failed by a dishonest government. You died in vain, causing such pain. They should be held account. It's murder almost tantamount. Rest in peace, Nipper, brother. I don't believe I got to meet you, and that makes me sad. I look forward to everyone else that I meet. That isn't very clear. The sound might not have been good. I'll do another reading. I can't quite cope with another one emotionally at the minute. It's an occupational hazard, it turns out. So, I'm going to have a rest. And then what I intend to do when I say rest, it won't be very long. Tomorrow I intend to put together the WTU solutions that we've started work on. That will need to be included also. They haven't had that yet. That will be our resolutions to the legal problem. And then I'll just get back to you as soon as I hear anything from the barrister. That will all then, assuming that the barrister agrees with us that this is against our human rights, that will then be sent on to the Secretary of State, at which point they will have to consider all of the evidence presented, and then after that, depending on if they go in our favour or if they go against us, will determine if we go toward court or not. They could say, by Jove, you're correct. and change the law, or they could say, no, this isn't infringing your human rights, and in which case we as a community move forward to court, at which point we have the crowd justice fundraiser that is ready to go, really, just at the press of a button, but not needed at this point until we get the barrister's advice and the response from the Secretary of State, perhaps. So I will keep you all in the loop as much as possible, as soon as possible. Again, I am on daddy duties from Wednesday to Sunday. I'm home educating my daughter under the current circumstances, so my time for activism and campaigning has been reduced really to Monday and Tuesday. Obviously, if anyone has any emergencies, I'm still there for anyone and everyone in any way I can be, so please still come to me and message me. Just I can't be as prompt as I've always been so far. And on that note, yes, please share as much as you can, get people knowing about us. Once everything's gone to the barrister, I'll be looking at structure and organisation of WTU. We'll be looking at building our volunteer base for people to help our community grow. It would be really good, really, if we could start getting local clubs together. So if anyone is in Purton, Swindon, Wiltshire, anywhere in that vicinity and want to start making a regular meeting and maybe a club, please message me and we can start making it happen. Let's be a community. We have a right to the freedom of association. Well, we did until the Corona Bill legislation came out, but that's a different argument, and I'm not getting into that today. If you haven't read the 2020 regulation, I really implore you, go to the government website, Corona Bill 2020 regulations, get yourself fully averse of what they're trying to impose upon society, and I would, if you feel the need, resist it any way you can, in any way you can. It's fucking terrifying. But we haven't lost our human rights yet, so let's still fight for them while we can, and hopefully still assert them. I'm trying to think of any other business. What's my battery? Oh, I've still got 10%, man. That's cool. Let me have a little scroll through some questions. Thank you all for tuning in and watching, by the way. It has been really hard keeping updates. I know many of you who've been in the group for a long time will know WTU started as a monk family thing, I had my kids in and everything, but then with time I withdrew them for safety reasons. Then, our family broke up, so all that dynamic changed. Then it became very difficult to give updates with the coronavirus, single father, disability. So my plan now is every Monday at 4:20 to do a live feed, because I'm not completely obliterated by my condition, and normally should be available on that day. So that'll be the plan, 4:20 every Monday, weekly updates. I'll share it to the YouTube channel, so please share from there as well. Share it on all of your own platforms, everywhere you can. Please, please, please share. I'm going to have a look through, see if I've got any... Oh yes, so a member here has pointed out for the Words of Weed and Wisdom, there is also a signed copy that was signed by all of the authors, is now on auction on eBay. So have a look on eBay for Words of Weed and Wisdom book for auction. It's your chance to get a bit of prohibition history and support the campaign. So have a think and have a bid. It's full of, writings from people like me, I suppose. Forgive me, I'm just having a scroll through and see if I got any questions I need to address, and it doesn't seem like I have. Signing up to the mission statement on the site says show your support, undersign the mission statement, but that is not a link. Where do people sign rather than comment? Unfortunately, we couldn't change that comment. It was like a prefabbed website thing, so that is the undersigning box. So if you go onto the website to the undersign, where it says comment, if you comment in there, that will then put your name, become undersigned, and your comment also beneath the mission statement. So that is on the mission statement page. It didn't give us the option to say undersign here. Unfortunately, the website wouldn't kind of allow us to do that. It had to have comment. Someone's written homebrew here. Yeah, from the very early on, I think the first letters we wrote out to solicitors before we'd even found a solicitor willing to represent the WTU community, that took over 12 months, don't forget. It is, in some ways, we seek, when I say we, I mean those who choose to consume cannabis, we seek equality with people who choose to consume alcohol. Both are recreational substances, or can be, both can be used for medical purposes. They've all got both similar ways, but as individual people, as consumers, the consumers of alcohol have certain rights, responsibilities and protections in law. You know, they have the right to home brew, they have the right to possess, to go and buy and to walk down the street and do what they want with it. They have the responsibility not to get drunk, go out, crash their car and kill somebody, which I think people who use cannabis have that same responsibility. And also they have protections in law that the quality that the alcohol that they purchase comes from a verifiable source. Now, if everyone is equal beneath the law, why is it that I, who choose not to consume alcohol but choose to consume cannabis, I don't have these rights, responsibilities and protections in law because I've chosen cannabis? So because I've chosen cannabis, I have no right to consumer equality and I have no right to human rights, is what the government currently state, which is what we're trying to challenge. So, yeah, I hope you join us. I believe if you comment, that is considered a virtual signature. Someone was replying to the undersigning comment. In essence, it is a virtual signature. You are becoming one of we the undersigned. I'm going to have to find a way to make the actual list of who we are. Is it this face group? I don't know. We only might have a few hundred people who respond, so I don't feel that should be entirely representative of our number. In the comment boxes to add your name for the mission statement. I'm just scrolling through. Okay, I'm going to have to check out the mission statement page. Apparently it's not very clear, so I'll have a look and do all I can to make it clear. Okay, I'm just scrolling through. The auction is a signed copy of Inside My Hat and Other Heads. So forgive me, I was mistaken. It's not a signed copy of Words of Weed and Wisdom. The auction is for a signed copy of the first book, Inside My Hat and Other Heads. So yeah, please get yourself over there and have a bid. I think that's everything. There's no other questions here to address. Everyone that has sent in their testimonial, 123 people, I think about 70 of those were through the website as it is, and some of those were initially before. I do intend to contact you all individually. I have started emailing some of you back. I'm also trying to email you your number, which you spoke out on your voice. I did look to try and make it an anonymous list, but it was impossible because lots of people like me have stamped their name, rah, Phil Monk, this is me, you know, so it was impossible to make it anonymous in that way. So anyone that hasn't put their name, it hasn't been put in. If it's your initials, it's your initials. If it's your full name, it's your full name. I've pretty much copied verbatim, word for word, everything that anyone has submitted, so it remains purely your voice, not altered at most. Some paragraph spacing to make it easier to read. So, like I said, the testimonials aren't being shut down, so keep adding to them, and I'll update you all soon. Shouldn't get too confident just yet. It was only an excited solicitor, and we are trying to take on the government, and loads of corporations and people that just want to make loads of money out of cannabis, rather than people that just want to make it so that poor people can grow cannabis for self-sufficiency. So on that note, I'm going. I've got 5% left. Love, light and peace, folks. Please share the page, add your voice, do everything you can. Take care for now. Speak soon.